There we go. All right, let's go, man. We got Jovany Ruiz. Let's see. I'll do a little intro here. Most people probably know already who you are, but dude, freaking lives in Tampa right now. Head coach and founder of Peak Performance, helping leaders reclaim their discipline and strength, identity, working with entrepreneurs, executives, athletes. Um, we were teammates back at UB. You were both fellow walk-ons, and Giovanni earned a scholarship, absolute beast. Started some big games for us, and now is freaking done awesome and changed his life and moved down to Florida. So, dude, how's it been?
Dude, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Absolutely, man.
Obviously, you got your scholarship as well, and you absolutely killed it. So, Buffalo was a great time, and then now having to create a new chapter in Tampa, Florida, which has been absolutely amazing. I moved here about 2.5 years ago, and truly haven't looked back. Obviously, everything I went through in Buffalo allowed me to be here now. So, I'm grateful for the place, grateful for the city. Now excited to keep growing and moving along here in Tampa.
Yeah, man. I'm interested. There's so many questions that come to me, but I think the biggest thing and that we've both been in is like, how did you adjust from your identity as an athlete to then moving down to Florida, becoming a coach and completely, you're in fitness and health and fitness and that whole sphere, but it's different than college athletics. How was that transition point or leap of faith and moving down there?
Yeah, well, honestly, I think playing football is such a great way to just learn a lot before you step into the new world, whatever you decide to go in, whatever
Yeah.
industry you decide to go in. So for me, knowing that it was still super hard to transition, I had no idea what I really wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to stay somewhat in the health and fitness world just because of my injuries and how much I fell in love with the body and health and how much the mind can really allow you to excel no matter where you really are, whether you're down and injured or if you're thriving. And so for me, saying bye to football was the hardest thing. I had this very like stubborn mindset of like I'm gonna make it no matter what. Doesn't matter if I had 70 surgeries or if I didn't play, if I was a walk-on, if I whatever the hell happened, I was going to make it. And it was hard and I had ego problems to get over in order to turn the page. But honestly, it was such a cool process and it wasn't until like a year and a half when I moved to Tampa that I was like, okay, like I gotta I gotta move on a little bit. Not that I don't love football anymore. I love football. But for the moment, I was like, okay, like I'm really starting to love more of the mindset side of things and the body. And so let me just dive a little deeper into this and give it a chance.
Yeah. Did you, because I know you worked at um Suka and we're a big time trainer there. Did you initially like what was the launch point, right? You moved down, like why did you I don't know how walk me through like taking the leap because so many people know like internally what they want to do and I've been there and then it's like well how like and so many people are just afraid to take the jump, right? Like how was that just acceptance like I gotta just do this and actually dive in.
Yeah, so I'll take you back a little bit because the big jump and the initial jump is the hardest, and that was actually
Yeah.
moving away from Buffalo. I it was what was it? It was New Year's. Me and my girlfriend were out. We're like enjoying our New Year's night and our New Year's Eve, and it hit me like that night. I'm like, bro, I gotta keep pursuing this football dream. I didn't have the best college career. I made the best of what I had, but I had 7 knee surgeries, and I was always either injured or something was going on, and I was like, golly, why me, right? But I knew that I still had the athleticism, I had the brain, and I loved the game enough to continue to pursue it. So I made a decision on the first of 2023, I think it was, or
Okay. Yeah.
2024, yeah, 2023. And I literally put everything in my car that following day on January 1st and started driving south. I didn't really know where I was going. I remember I made a couple calls to a couple of places to train for the combine or our pro day. And Coach Scott from Trench, he really stood out to me on the phone, and I said, okay, I'll just go there. I had no money. I had $0, but I had 30K in credit cards I could spend. And so I
Yeah.
went down with all my credit card money and spent it all on training. I had nowhere to stay. on the way down within those 24 hours, I went on Facebook Market and just put in a bunch of groups like, hey, I'm moving to Tampa. I need a place to stay. I'm pursuing this, this, and that. And I had 40 people reach out, which was exciting. But I chose one. It was the only one I chose. I clicked it. I said, okay, I'm coming. And they ended up being the most amazing people ever. I actually went to the wedding not so long ago
Oh,
in
awesome.
Banff. Yeah. But in that process of pursuing football and, spending every dime that I had and every credit card dollar that I could, I was also 4 months behind on rent and I was not in a good place externally. Mentally, I was so dialed in. I knew that I was gonna work out no matter what.
Yeah.
But from there, I just trained super hard. I worked on my nutrition, worked on my mindset. And as long as those three things are intact, whether it's your body, your mind, and your spirit, then nothing could really throw you off the bus. So for me, I was good, even though to some people that might have been like a panic button. I knew something was gonna pop up, and then I had my pro day. I did well. Had numbers were great. Gave me at least a local shot, a local day
Yep.
workout with the Bills. Went there, did really well as well. Obviously, didn't get picked up, and that is fine. From there, I moved back. I come back to Tampa because at that point I'm like, okay, I don't want to go straight to Buffalo or else I'll stay there. So
Yeah.
I went back to Tampa and I went to go run some routes with a couple of the guys that live here in Tampa, Cam Bray and Scotty Miller. We went over to the field and they were telling me about a coach I had the coach with on the off season. His name is Dylan Smith. I met him real quick on the field. He was opening up a facility, which turned out to be Suka, like 3 months after I met him.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, and then from there, I went back to Buffalo for a nonprofit, which I've had with Max here for a little bit. Basically, it's Sport of Life, and we help athletes, think and live beyond sports. And in that process, I was had like $5 in my pocket when I was back up there. We raised a lot of money, but all the money was thrown back into the community. And I'm like, golly, we did all this for all these people, but now I'm stuck and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go back to Tampa. I don't know where I'm going. I'm basically
Yep.
like just living day by day, which again could be a panic button for a lot of people, but for me, I was like, okay, it's gonna work out. And that's when destroying came into the play. You know who destroying is?
Yeah, I remember seeing your whole thing when you won the competition and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently posted like a reel on it because it truly was a life-changing moment because basically it allowed me some space in my mind. Destroying is a YouTuber. He creates different tournaments throughout the country, one-on-one tournaments. So basically you're a receiver or a defensive back.
Hmm.
Um, you got to score, you got to stop him from scoring. There was like 600 people in this Buffalo event, and the winner ends up winning and obviously getting money. And I ended up winning and got $12,000 that day. And
Heck
so I
yeah.
was able to pay off my roommate. So I was no longer 4 months in debt.
Yep.
I started to, pay a little bit of the credit card, but I'm like, I'll just leave it there for now. I got to figure out what's really next. And
Yeah.
from there, I remember sitting down. I don't know if you've ever been to Tampa, but there's like
Yeah.
a nice hotel called The Edition.
Okay.
And you go up to like the rooftop and you just look at the city of Tampa and you're like, how the hell do I do something here? And so initially I was like, okay, I need to find the best gym possible. And so my first thought was, okay, I'll reach out to Dylan, see if he got any um, opportunity. Honestly, I didn't even ask for opportunity. I said, hey, what does your gym look like? Da da da. I would love to come by and check it out. And then I also got a job at the Edition as a bartender server.
Oh, sweet.
So I wanted to connect with like high level individuals, and I love just like reading books and being in that type of world where I can connect with people like that. And so those are the two options for me is okay, I'll spend this money on, I mean, the money was gone within like a week or two because I had to pay off so many things,
Yeah.
but it at least gave me time and space to create my next step. And that's what it was. So from there, after I spent all my money on the things that I owed, I had about $180 left. And um, it was either I bought groceries for that week or I went to Suka and bought a 3-day pass for 150 bucks. And obviously, I went with Suka and I showed up every day at 5 a.m. I felt like I was in college again, getting after at 5 a.m. lifts
Heck
and
yeah.
just went there and just had fun. From there, they extended my stay for an extra 10 days. Then they extended again, and I officially got hired as a front desk employee for a little bit until I started to grow into my role as a personal trainer. Yeah, but Suka's truly been amazing. Obviously, I no longer work with them. They're amazing at what they do. It's a great facility, um, and it gave me a lot of opportunities to move forward here in Tampa.
Yeah, man. That's so much there's there's so many fun topics to talk about that I think people would find so helpful. But it's so then from there right to now, that's been well, it seems like before after that, right? You went to Asia, which I'm in Bali and all of that. Like, how long were you out there for? Because that looked awesome, and I think that'd be fun to chat about.
Dude, the Bali trip was truly the most unreal thing I've ever done in my life. I worked at Suka for probably 2 years. I was like working like 5 a.m. to like 9 p.m. every day, just
Yep.
getting after it, which I loved, but I know that, it took a lot out of me as much as
Yeah,
I would have said probably I loved it and I wanted to continue to do this for the rest of my life. I definitely didn't. And so I needed to take some sort of trips. I gave him like a 4 months heads up, like, hey, I'm going to Bali on a random trip. I'm not planning any of it. I'm just literally buying my flight there. I'm not buying one back until I feel like it. No, not like that. Basically, I only had a
I
one-way
like
flight.
it, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I had a one-way flight. And one of the reasons I read that, or I went to Bali because I read the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and it kind of inspired me to do something like this. So if you guys are looking for something to read, it's a
Okay.
great book. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
Yeah,
And, but yeah, bro, 40 days of straight like living with the wind and not really having any responsibilities. I know sounds like wow,
that's
I wish
cool.
I could do that, but you can. I mean,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
left at my peak. I had a wait list of clients that wanted me to train them. I was making decent money, and I had everything that I wanted
Yeah.
in a short amount of time that I was here in Tampa. But really, what I was really yearning was just freedom in a way of like just go with my gut and whatever movement I did, and that's exactly what it did. It was awesome. There's a
Dang.
lot
So
of
what?
people on the trip, bro. It's literally the most unreal trip.
So what did you do? Like, you land there. What?
Yeah, yeah,
Where do you go from there? Like, what?
yeah.
How does that go?
Bro, solo trips are something I'll do every year,
Okay.
whether it's a weekend or a week or a month or 40 days, um, or a year maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Uh, I get there. I have nothing set up in terms of like credit card transferring stuff, whatever I need. I literally show up. I met this friend, like this person that I met on the freaking flight. They said, I'm going to this part of Bali. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go with you. We went, got dinner, we parted ways. I don't know that person, but literally I just met her on the airplane and I went, okay, boom, I need a ride anyway. From there, I was able to like figure out kind of like, okay, they don't use obviously the American dollar. I need to figure out what I can use for money. And from there, I called like a little cab from the restaurant we were at, and they call it Gojek. It's like their Uber. And
Yeah.
this little kid comes through with a little bike, and I have three suitcases on me. So we put one under his feet, one on my back, and my bag on my other shoulder. And we're going through this jungle, just up, down these
Dang.
cliffs to the left. It was just insane. And we couldn't find a stay. I was in this bike for like 2 hours trying to find somewhere to stay. And we ended up going to this beautiful villa, and I remember maybe I'll post more about it, but I ended up showing up to this random place at like 1 a.m. at night. We're knocking, hey, do you have any more room? And they were like, no, it's just like not how we do it. But they ended up giving me this amazing space. It was truly in the jungle with like my own little villa, had my own little pool. It was sick. But I was only going to stay there for 1 or 2 nights till I figured things out.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing I did though was honestly on day three, I had met a guy on social media. His name is Aparicio, and
Okay.
he does like these jungle excursions,
Yeah.
and he's like the most raw experiences ever. So basically, we go into this jungle. It's me, him, and two other guys. I don't know them, but one from France and one from England, something like that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And we end up going to the middle of the jungle, and we stay there for 3 nights. and it was unreal. We found like a 60 meter cave, and we stayed there. We created a fire. We slept on the rocks on the ground. We caught a 10-foot python.
What?
Uh, but it was really cool the way that
That's
he made
awesome.
it seem. It was like, hey, just imagine I don't exist. I'm here. Obviously, if something goes like wrong or you need some sort of like a big help, but like just you and you guys try and figure it out, and you figure out like what is your priority at this moment. So how would you attack this? And it's really cool how that is so similar to like life outside of that because we learn to find your shelter, find your home first, your foundation, and then from there build onto what you really need. And so it was really cool to see how everything really plays a role in everything. And again, I have so much content I haven't posted in a long time, but I really think it was a really cool experience. I ended up eating bats.
What?
I remember we
That's
were
crazy.
hunting one day. I was like the lead hunter, so I had to go out there and like lead. I sucked, bro. I had this
What'd you
little
hunt with?
sword, or not a sword, freaking. It was like a spear with a rock at the end,
Okay.
and we also created traps everywhere, and we had like honestly, it was like very like high level. I don't even know how we got to that point, but when you're like fasted and in the middle of the jungle, you kind of think a little bit more like a freaking animal. But there's these iguanas. They look like freaking Komodo dragons. And so it would post up in the sun every day. So I remember I have a video of it too. We're posting up. I missed by like 2 inches. I was so pissed. And then again, the next morning we would do it. And I'm like, at the point we're not catching anything. And so at this point, we're like, okay, we found a couple coconuts. We brought them back. And then he's like, all right, we're in a cave. What else can we get? And then we're like, oh, we can go get some bats. So we go all the way to the back of the cave. We bring our sticks. It's super dark. Like it's a huge cave.
Yeah.
And basically we start swinging. Hum. You start ding, ding. You start hitting all these bats. You pick them up on the ground. We
What?
bring them back to where we're sleeping. We gut them, put them on the fire, and actually it didn't taste that bad. And thankfully I don't have any diseases.
Yeah, you just roasted them up?
Yeah.
Dude, that's freaking that's epic. So then that was 3 days there, and then like what else? What happened after that? I'm interested because I'm interested in traveling and doing stuff like this. I've been following some people who kind of I don't know. Do you know Noah Ryan? Have you heard of him?
No,
Um,
I don't.
he talks about, but he went like he was an interesting guy. I've been listening to a little bit, but he went to what was it, Thailand for a while. But it was interesting just hearing about it. So you're in the jungle with the guide hunting bats and stuff, and then what do you guys do after that? I mean, that's only the start, right?
Bro, the most badass thing about this whole thing is like after we get out of the jungle,
Yeah.
we go to his house and he has like it's a small little house. It's nice in the middle of the jungle again, but it's beautiful. We enter and there's six different like fish tanks. In each one there's a big king cobra. You
What?
go in the room, they freaking get all big and like open up their necks. And I'm like, whoa, where the hell am I? But he had like the biggest one in Indonesia in his room. He had three other ones. He had a python in there too. We weren't able to take pictures because that's like how he
Yeah, yeah,
gets money and stuff. So we didn't want to respect his way of content creation and the way he gets out there. But it was unreal. And this guy just plays with them. So he's, one bite and you're done. This
yeah,
guy is just through life every single day. And his stories were honestly the most unreal stories ever. We'd do like fireside chats at night
yeah.
because you truly can't sleep. Like you have the fire on, and the fire kind of pushes all the animals in any type of danger away. And
Hmm.
I'm sleeping on the rocks, and every like 20 minutes you have to wake up and start blowing on the fire, or else it goes off, and then you're like, oh, I don't know what's gonna come, what critters are gonna come through. But yeah, so no, the guy is truly amazing, and he honestly, I met him through, I don't know if you know the real Tarzan.
I feel like I've heard of him. Is he on Instagram? I'll look him up.
Yeah, he's on Instagram. The real
Okay.
Tarzan. He's just an unreal, again, guy who with nature and animals and all that stuff. And so I've been following him for a long time.
Yeah.
And he was one time.
He was there.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
this
met
guy's
no,
got,
we were together like the week before, and that's what how I saw him, and so I reached out.
dude, what?
Yeah.
I'm looking at his profile right now. Wait 1 second.
Yeah, no.
I'll share the screen.
Mm. You need to put the other guy on there too. He's Aparicio. Mika. We call him Mika Aparicio.
Oh my, dude. Some of these snakes are
Oh yeah.
wild.
Oh, that snake is his actually. That one right there,
Really? I
that's
wonder,
Aparicio snake.
really? Oh, it's not. Dude, that's a cobra? Yeah. It says
Yeah.
Sumatran King Cobra.
Yeah, it's a king cobra.
What the heck, dude? Is this the guy? Is that your guy? I wonder.
Which one?
You see this guy?
Oh no no no. You gotta go to if you go to my
Is that on
Instagram real
your
quick and
page?
you
Yeah,
put
let me pull it up.
Aparicio.
Oh, let me scroll it up.
Yeah, if you go
What's his name?
to yeah, following APA.
This guy?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
heck? Wait, there's a lot of there's a lot of AP. It went away. Um,
Oh,
APAR. Oh, this guy. Okay. Oh, shoot.
dude, when I met him, I think he had like maybe 20, no, 15K followers. He's already at 103. Wow.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
blowing up, dude. Oh my
dude.
gosh. So this guy just so he was the one who took you to the jungle?
He's the one that would, yeah, he would come to us to the jungle and he kind of runs the whole
What?
thing.
That's crazy, dude. What? How'd
And
he get into this? Is he from Bali?
he is, well, he lives in Bali, yeah.
Where's he from? Is he from there originally?
He's French, but he
He's
grew up
French?
in a town of like 17 people, like a little village.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy, dude. So
yeah.
you gonna go back to Bali?
Dude, I am. I'm gonna do a full week. He's gonna do a survival retreat on a beach on a desert island, and I'm gonna go with him. So that'll be super exciting again. Just like
That's
I don't
like,
know, I like to do and
what'd
just
you
get
say?
myself out of the comfort zone. For
Yeah.
sure. I
So then,
love like doing random things that get me out of the comfort zone.
yeah, well, I saw you were just recently in Banff too, and that was like looked like some epic hikes out there. Like another way to get out of your comfort zone.
I know Banff is truly unreal as well. It's like beautiful. Everywhere you walk, you feel like in an AI background cover, and you're like, whose laptop am I on walking through right now?
Yeah. Out west is wild. That's like
You
when I was
been?
living out there. Yeah, because I was living in Oregon last year, when I was doing wildland firefighting. So it was some wild experiences out there.
Dude, what's the craziest thing you saw out there?
Um, we definitely felt like we saw like whether it's Bigfoot or something like that. Um,
Really?
yeah, that was so I was it was on one of the fires we were on, and we were there. We got there. Well, this was a crazy story because actually before I was supposed to come back, I had my flight booked back to New York, and my roommate, because it was the end of fire season, maybe end of September, and I was just really beat up, and health wise, I had some stuff going on, so I was like, I gotta come home and just like see the doctor and figure it out. And I had my flight booked. I was gonna take a Uber to whatever Eugene, like 3 hours away, and then take my flight. And then at like 2 a.m. they call and they're like, fire call, be at the station in an hour. So I've canceled my flight. When I was like, I gotta go. And then it was like this new start that was up like in the middle of nowhere. It's called like Coos Bay area. So it's like middle kind of nowhere, in Oregon, right off the coast of the Pacific Ocean. And it was a small little fire that started from like loggers. And we got there and we're putting in line and all of that. Basically, you put in line around the fire to try to make it stop spreading. And when there's big trees and stuff, you got to cut down the trees, you got to clear out the whole area. So we were doing that. And then it was like in this basically canyon or a very steep ground that you really can't get down. And they wanted us to do a controlled burn. it was a wildfire, but they want us to then put the fire on the ground from the area we already cut. So we basically cut line all around this like canyon and then lit it on fire. And it went from, it was probably 50 to 100 acres and it blew up to over 1,000 in a few hours. So we were, it's going behind us all over the place. We had to hike out. Some people had to hike down to the bottom because it was, it was just a bad circumstance where there's probably some weird things that happen. I don't know. Either way, the fire spread and all that. And then they called in more crews for the following few days, switched management. And during one of those nights where I had a bunch of friends on the other crew who missed the call and were on this crew, they all were like hearing crazy stuff and seeing like eyes in the forest and stuff. And then there was a bunch of um, so there's 20-man crews, which I was on, like they call it a hand crew. And then there's engines, which are the ones who are up because there's no fire hydrants or anything. You're 4 hours away from the nearest town or 2 hours away. So there's no water access. So these guys go from a creek or wherever, fill up water for their in the truck, and then they come on these roads that we bulldoze. We first cut down the trees, then they bulldoze and make roads. And they were down there, and they like evacuated in the middle of the night because they thought something was like after them. So it was pretty crazy. And I heard like stories of guys getting stuff thrown at them from the middle of the forest where there's nobody out there. So it was pretty wild.
Wow, bro. I've always had like especially when I was up in Banff, I'm like, bro, Sasquatch or
Oh, that's
friggin'
real.
Bigfoot must live. You
Yeah, I
think
believe.
so?
I believe. Well, I believe in
Yeah,
like
only to
I believe in ancient giants. So, like
yeah.
if you're looking into Nephilium and these different things. So, or I don't know. I like diving into that interesting stuff, but I think that's completely within the realm. I don't know exactly where or where they're hiding, but from the stories I heard of guys who were from there and some different Native American guys and all everything they said and kind of some stories they had from themselves or their family, it seemed like that was definitely a real thing. Yeah.
Really good at hide and seek.
Yeah, really good at hide and seek. So yeah, it was cool, man.
No, honestly, I hadn't talked to you in probably that whole time, and I was like probably 2 years since I graduated, and
Yeah.
I watched your stories or your post. I'm like, where the hell is this guy? Like, no, and sometimes you just like
Yeah,
we
100%.
didn't get to talk to recent, and so it's it's awesome that you got that experience. And what do you think of the experience? 1 out of 10, would you do it again or
Oh, I'd love to go back. I definitely want
yeah?
to go back. Yeah. Oh yeah. I loved it.
Ah,
I still have a lot of good friends out there. I miss it. I check in with them, be on the phone with them when they're at a fire or they're sending me videos of them cutting down trees and stuff. It was it was awesome. I probably wouldn't have, everything works out for a reason. So I would have went back this year if I could have, but health wise I wasn't able to. So that's when I started out my own coaching business and all of this stuff that I'm doing now. But I was planning on going back out, shoot, whenever I could have, whether it was March, April, May, sometime, and move back to Oregon. I was going to stay. I had a full-time offer to stay out there, and I just knew like health-wise, I accepted it. And then after a few weeks, I was just really didn't feel right. For the past few
mm,
years since football, honestly, and ended up having like some autoimmune issues and stuff I've been working out. But it was a wild time. It was awesome. I loved it. Yeah,
wow,
man.
that's awesome. So if the opportunity comes up again, because now you're rolling, now you have your fitness and you have your nutrition, you have things rolling. It seems like your business is
Yeah,
going
it's going
well.
well. Yeah.
And if that were to happen again, would you leave or would you stay? Or would you do both?
Well,
Can you
it's
do
my
both?
choice, luckily. So, yeah, I could do both. It depends. It depends. I would like to go back. I definitely see myself going back sometime in the future. I don't think that's necessarily like within the next year. I'm really trying to build this and you know how it is when you're now it's like, I mean, you're a full entrepreneur like myself, so it's just like you're on your own kind of thing.
Mm.
So I want to build those systems out and have enough demand where if I was to step away, I could obviously help my current clients figure out what to do or things of that sort, or if I'm communicating, because out there I don't have service for,
Oh,
10
true.
to 10 to 15 days at a time. So like I couldn't really guarantee. So I can't just take a phone call like I typically can and somebody sends me a menu. Hey, I'm going out here for dinner. What should I eat? I can't,
Yeah.
I couldn't really do that. So it'd be a different level of service that obviously I have to give like similar to you, 4 months, I'd have to give definitely some notice to a lot of people. But someday in the future, it'd be awesome to go back when the time's right. Yeah.
Wow. See, I love it. We all have our own little extreme journey where I mean yours might be a little more extreme, a lot more extreme than mine. Mine's just pure just go with the flow. But um
It's going
I
with the
think
flow out there too.
I mean yeah, I bet it's
Yeah.
honestly if people need to do a little bit more of that, just like either find something super extreme like that to go and change their perspective on a lot of things, or just take the leap of faith into whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. I mean, I by the time I post this, I'm gonna be down. I'm moving down to Florida as well.
Where
So
you going?
I'm moving
Where'd
to
you
Saint,
choose?
pardon,
Where'd you choose?
St. Augustine, Florida. So
Nice.
right off.
Why? Nothing.
I've got some family down there, so it'll be cool. That I know some cousins and stuff, and I didn't want to be speaking about like perspective changing. It's once I was in Oregon and wasn't in a city because I was coaching football and living in New York City and Staten Island and all that, and I was just like, man, I do not want to be in a city. It's just not my vibe. And living out in
Yeah,
Oregon, camping, out 6 months straight, a few days with a tent, but basically sleeping under the stars and no no phone service, no nothing. I loved it. I miss that. So I wanna I definitely want to be in nature. Like that helps me really reconnect and reset and be the best version of myself. So it was either the mountains or the beach. And for the next little bit, it's going to be the beach. So that was kind of the thought. And it's a smaller town. And I got some family there and we'll figure it out from there. Yep.
that's awesome. Congrats, bro.
Yeah,
Dude,
appreciate it, man.
your business is gonna blossom for sure down St. Augustine. I don't know. I think just obviously Buffalo, Rochester area is a great place to be in. Um, I just think there's a little bit more of a spotlight for entrepreneurs and higher ceilings to reach when you go a little bit south. That's what I've experienced with everybody who lives here in Tampa and like my own experience as well. You get to see things from a different perspective, which is really nice.
Yeah. What have you noticed? Because I've spent time down there, whether it's in Tampa, Fort Lauderdale. My brother lives down there, so I visited him a few times. But obviously everyone wants to be outside and be fit and like it just seems like there's more driven people. What have been some differences you've noticed from because we're both from Western New York
Yeah.
and then I'm in the process of going, you already live there. Like what are the differences you've noticed, whether fitness or entrepreneurship or things like that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think there's just bigger ceilings for every bucket, whether it's
Mm.
health, whether it's money, whether it's relationships. I feel like the weather just allows people to be outside at all times. And so if you come to Tampa and you go to the Bayshore Walk, you can come at 3 a.m. in the morning and there'll be people running. If you come at 10 p.m. at night, there's people running. There's a bunch of different activities and all these like communities that make people feel welcome, and you'll see like there's always more people that are not from this place than there are, and I'm sure it's the same thing with St. Augustine. So there's a bunch of clubs and communities that are yearning for the same thing, and health is the number one thing in the world. So for them to um, create that allows just the move so much easier. For me, when I first came down here, I'm like, I don't know anybody, but I'm gonna meet random people by through health and fitness and wellness. So I'd go to every free events, every yoga event, every breathwork event, every running event. And through there, I started to build community. I found the church that I still go to and I love here in Tampa. And everyone says like pure like it's not I wouldn't say it's like straight like Miami or New York City where everybody's like hustle, 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 business, business, business. Like this
Yeah.
has a little bit of a, and I'm sure St. Augustine does too, a little bit of I can actually raise a family here in a way.
Yeah.
Um, it's a little bit slower, but yet fast, and it's actually getting faster now. It's growing really fast. Um, but yeah, people's are typically they're healthier and they have more to compete with, I guess, in the
Dating pool.
aesthetics world, like you
Yeah.
go to these gyms and these guys and these women are all so attractive. Like, so people are going the extra mile, whether you're 26 years old or 46 years old, they're freaking getting after it. And it's hard to do that up not in a slower city, right? Where things are just maybe colder, it's warmer to stay inside and stay comfy. Down here, it's very like go, go, go in terms of the health aspect.
That's interesting. What have been some of the cool things that you've learned down there health wise? Because obviously you come from high level athlete and injury rehab, but like what have been kind of some of the perspective altering changes you've seen since being down there?
So, in terms of health and in general, I think a lot of the older, a lot of my clients are above 30, above 40 maybe.
Yep.
And so super successful and they're at the top of their game when it comes to their industry. But in order to get there, most of them have sacrificed their health. And um, and so obviously now they're trying to buy back their health, which is truly one of the hardest things to do, but doable at a threshold, right?
Yeah.
Um, but for me, what I've learned is that you are truly never satisfied or happy if you are not healthy. Um, I've seen a lot of people that have everything in the world, yet they're missing the most important thing, and that's their health, and that's their ability to feel content and satisfied, and not satisfied, but the ability to feel and
Yeah. Happy
experience
and joy.
everything
Yeah.
enjoy everything that they've accomplished. And so for me, that's where I step in and allow them to see a new vision, a new goal, and rewrite their limiting beliefs into, you can still do that now and get after it. So for me, I got to understand this is the reason why I didn't choose a corporate job. Not that the corporate jobs are bad. Just for me, I knew that my light would be dimmed if I
Yeah.
were to go into a place like that. I love community. I love connecting with people, and I love to be on the move. And so I've learned that no matter how good the job could be, no matter how many dollars they put in your face to go take a job, and if your heart is truly not in it, you're gonna end up with a lot of money, yet fucked up. You're gonna end up
Yeah.
not really pursuing your true passion and your true purpose, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, man. You couldn't say it better. I mean, that was something I experienced after college was like taking the corporate route for a short while and I could not handle it. I was
Yeah, what was day to day? Because honestly, I've been tempted. I've had like before my Bali trip, I had four amazing job offers on like private equity, finance stuff,
sure.
and tempted. Literally on day six of my Bali trip, I said no. I literally call all of them and I said, "Hey, thank you for the opportunity. I'm not doing this." And so I never stepped into it. How is the corporate world?
Soul sucking, I would say, is the number one thing. Soul sucking for sure. Dims your light for sure. You can't be yourself, in my opinion, right? So I didn't do private equity or finance. I did sales, whether it was software sales or cybersecurity. And
Hmm.
both of those, right, throw money in your face, like make six figures plus this, that. And it was a while ago, and it was difficult to, I don't know, conform. I think was the difficult part. You couldn't really be yourself, and you're not, you know, I've got a lot of opinions on corporate, and I just, based on who owns the corporations and what private equity groups own or BlackRock or whatever own the corporations, but it's just, and they have certain agendas they want to put out and certain things they want you to say, and it just didn't jive with me. I'm like yourself, try to really be in tune with my spirit, and it felt like a lot of times money was the number one thing for the corporation or for it was always, that's the key performance metric is is the uh is the bottom dollar for that. And a lot of times things have to get sacrificed to get there. And I wasn't there long enough to be at a management level or things like that. But it was just difficult to work for something that wasn't my passion too. I think that was a big thing. I think that's why I was soul sucking because it wasn't a passion of mine to sell technology or cybersecurity to people. That wasn't something I really believed in. Where now it's like, and similar to yourself, we get to do what we love to do. In my free time, I'm doing what I help people do. Like this is what I want to do. I'm studying how to, oh, this nutrition thing, I'm going to try it out, or this training way, I'm going to try it out. And that was always what I was studying back then too. I was always reading different books on it. So when I wasn't, and I was thinking in the back of my head to do this. And I think most people in corporate are always thinking, once I make enough, once I get to this level, then I can get out. And I think for me, I was too sensitive to my environment. That's something I learned about myself too, is like I'm too sensitive to my environment to really, I can't be the best version of myself. And and that just wasn't the right place. So that's the long answer to the question. But yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way too in corporate. It's a very common thing. I think that's why there's so many people depressed, on SSRIs, unhealthy, you know. Uh, it's I don't think that's how we're meant to be. I'm sure you probably felt that way in Bali, and that's why you chose not to.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think for me, it's very similar to what you said. I think everybody has their own niche. And for some people, it might be, oh my God, working corporate is my dream and
Hmm.
working. And that's so good for them because they figured out what it is for them. And maybe it took me um, a little bit longer to figure out what I really wanted, but I knew I didn't want that. So number one thing is if you don't want it, don't go deep into it because you're gonna have to get out at some point. So
Yeah, that's the thing.
or you can settle and stay in it if you know a lot of people do that too, but that's not my lifestyle. So yeah, so I agree. There's amazing things about corporate and doing all that stuff, especially if you went to college to go be a CPA or a freaking doctor or whatever, and you are there for that reason and you actually achieve it. Wow, that's amazing. That's just as hard as going to the NFL. Dude, honestly, after leaving the thought of going to the NFL, I felt such a great feeling of freedom because
Mm,
I'm like, wow, there's a whole other world that has nothing to do with these five, like these rules that, football has a lot of policies as well.
yeah,
So it's truly, I mean, every aspect of life, there's like decisions you make, and each one of them has things that hold you back, things that push you forward. You just got to find the things that you're going to be okay with being held back in, but also find your purpose that allows you to really flourish and stay bright in every room.
100%. So then back, okay, so you get back from Bali. I'm interested still because
Oh,
then you get back
yeah.
and now it's you delve into the entrepreneurship of right you're your own, you're your own entity and you control that's the freedom, right? Like that's so what was that transition like going from being a highly successful trainer and having a strong wait list and killing it to then taking the leap
Yeah.
and wanting to do something yourself?
So this is the true story. While I was in Bali, I wrote up my whole plan, my whole program. I wrote out everything that I would do for my business, and I was still going to do maybe like part-time at Suka. I knew that Suka had done his time with me, and I did his time with them, and vice versa. That I left it better than I found it, and it was time to go. But when I got back, it's actually not even my decision. I remember going back, I had a meeting with the guys, and they said that their vision and goals no longer align with me. Literally on day one of me coming back, and after I spent every dime. And so I was like, wow, thank you for pushing me into this
Yeah.
opportunity to grow. Um, there's
Well,
a thing, and yeah, I don't want to get deep into that actually, but yeah, I
we
was
don't have
super
to.
grateful to for them to actually say that they weren't in line with me. I know that I did my thing. There was zero personal training when I got there. And now when I left, there was about 50 something. And so I know I
Yeah.
played a big role in shaping that gym and community, and as well as they had a big role on me. And so I think that's all we needed to move forward.
Yeah.
So then that allowed me to go all in on my own entity. And it's been the greatest feeling ever because now I get to really focus on my own creativity where somebody else doesn't have to say yes or no. It's just I kind
Yeah.
of just and there's no better feeling than that freedom of okay, I'm gonna do this and I will, just like I have everything else in my life. From there, I kind of got a little bit of a distraction though. I like a month, actually it was Easter Sunday, I get a call from an investor who has talked to all my clients. They're like, hey, I know your vision and goals, and I want to help you create them. And I'm like, oh, awesome, let's go. We end up meeting, and We go to the place, the property that he had in mind. We see it, we do a walkthrough, we end up buying it cash right there. And we also bought the house behind it, which I ended up moving into. And for 4 to 5 months, I went deep into the concept that I got from Bali, Thailand, and just life experience, and started building every aspect of it in terms of everything. Had a team of coworkers, a team for every little aspect of it. I even had a friend from Bali moving across the freaking world to go work at this gym,
Wow.
and he's unreal too. Um, but then at the end of it, honestly, just a lot changed in a small amount of time, and I just didn't align with the new vision that was in place. And so for me, love the guys that were part of it. But again, another opportunity for me to grow and learn. And so I declined an amazing offer, which where I come from, growing up in Bahia, Puerto Rico with nothing and an amount of money being in my face like this and the ability to create would have been a no-brainer. But in this case, I've done so much work, internal work, to know what's really my purpose and what my alignment is that I knew that wasn't for me at the moment. So I declined it. That has been like a month and a half ago. Then since then, I've been able to go back on track into which I've always been on the online build, but I haven't been all in until the last month and a half and haven't even launched yet. We launched in October. We have a lot of pre-launch clients. But now my best friend Jacob and I are coming together, which is something we always wanted to do. He he's really good at what he does, and so we're gonna partner together and create something here launching in October.
Oh, that's exciting, dude. That's only a month away.
I know we're putting a lot of work, and it's sick. Everything's coming together the right way, and we just sync and we align very well. He's a very, cup half full, just like I am, type of guy, super positive, and that's all I need. I need someone who matches the energy we're trying to give to our clients. And yeah, we're gonna get after it.
That's exciting, man. Let's go. So is that going to be, or do you want to delve into that, or we don't have to? Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I can give a quick preview. Basically, it'll be called Nova. Um, our goal and our I guess our pillars are nourish, optimize, vitalize, and ascend. We focus on training, we focus on nutrition, we focus on mindset with hypno breath work, which is something I'm very passionate about, and other mindset modalities. And then obviously we'll have a community and accountability to kind of create community together. Another project has come up as of recent, which I won't talk about too much, but that one is
Yeah, you're good.
for it here in Tampa.
What was it in Tampa?
It opportunity came up
Oh,
where we'll
okay.
have a home
Oh,
for
nice,
this.
man.
So it'll be everything seems to be shaping out the right way, and God is good. So we'll continue to
Yeah,
trust that.
that's exciting. Well, I'll come. I'm definitely going to be driving down to Tampa sometime, so we'll link up.
Do it, baby.
Yeah, man. That's well, happy for you, man. He's a great guy too, so he knows his
Mm.
stuff in that business, so that's awesome. That's a great link right there. That's got to be a big thing,
Yeah,
right?
no.
For Florida too, has been having those people in a similar sphere who just elevate you, right? You're the sum of your five people closest to you. So, having people who are just on the same mission, the same, ethics as well. It's got to be, that's got to be nice.
Oh, bro, it's the best. I mean, you've been going through this pretty in depth in the last half of the year. What
Mhm.
is the number one thing you learned and the number one thing you wish you knew before you got into this place right now
Oh,
with
it's
health?
interesting. Yeah. So, the one thing I learned, I would say number one is just relationship building is the number one thing. Because it's building a business. So, financially you have to support yourself, but really you support yourself through having quality relationships, which lead to quality outcomes, which people pay for. But it all starts there, right? Like if I'm able, just in the same with football, that's when I learned it was through leadership, and I can't lead somebody if I don't know somebody. So it's really, really important to to know the people I'm working with. That's extremely, extremely important. and that leads to the best results. The more I know them, I know their kind of their tendencies. I know where they're really strong at, where maybe they don't need a big push, but I know the weaker areas where I know I need to be on top of them. That's something that's really been beneficial. And one thing I learned, or like, what was the other part? Was one thing I
One
learned,
thing
one
you
thing I
learned.
wish I knew. Yeah, wish I knew. Ooh, that's a good one. I would say just, you know, separation between work and life. I think I wish I
Mm.
knew more about that because I've always been when I was in corporate or whatever I was when I was in working for a startup cannabis company or coaching or firefighting, I'm always just all in, like my whole, it's just everything I got. And with this, it's it can be all consuming because it's I'm working with people and everyone, I've got whatever X amount of people. I'm talking to them all the time and there's always a message coming in, whether it's 6 a.m., midnight, there's always something I could be doing. So it's having that healthy separation because I can't be the best coach and really mentor and like big brother figure I am to a lot of these people in a sense, unless I'm the best version of myself. So that's something I've definitely learned as well. Because if I'm not, and especially when building it and really getting off the ground, and it was just solo me, so it was just, trying to figure out how to get people on board and and making sure they succeed. Like, okay, I'm gonna make sure they invested in me. I'm gonna make sure like they freaking kill it. So having that balance too, because then not compromising my own health, right? I preach health and fitness, but if I'm not actually able to do that because I haven't made enough time for that, then that's on me. So that's be the biggest thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge because I did in-person training as well, or
Yep, I
I
did
did
that as well. Yeah.
training. And in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, I'll work every hour, and I would just try and find gaps for me to work out.
Yep.
And, like I started to look way different. My mood was a little bit off, and I'm like, whoa, it took me a long time to create a schedule to where I can say no to a good amount of money, to say yes to me, but then ultimately my life changed in a way better way. So if you are a trainer, I would say put yourself first in terms of your calendar, your schedule, and then fill the other hours if you're doing in-person training up with, whatever clients or whatever the hell you want to do for financial reasons. But it took me about honestly like a year and a half to master a schedule that allowed me to thrive along with my clients. Yeah.
The scheduling aspect is huge. And have you found that? I'm sure you'll learn that more. I mean, you're already doing it, but as you fully launch and everything too, like creating your own schedule for online for whether it's current clients or groups or in booking intake calls and all that, like that's especially for like a new client. I'm like, yeah, if there's only available at what time, it's like then it's similar to the same thing. If like, okay, I've got to, yeah, I can't meet at that time or whatever it may be. So that scheduling aspect has been really difficult for me in the past, and now I've definitely gotten better at that. But yeah, that's good to know. Good to know and learn.
Now, right now, my schedule's a little bit off and it'll change a little bit, but I have like it's the same thing every day. I have, like I say, I wake up at 4:30, I have a client about 5:30. Then from there, I schedule out my own lifting time. So I go lift at 7.
Mhm.
And then at 10 is my next client. I make sure I get all my meals and all that stuff in there, ready for the day. So I have client 10, client 11, client 12. Then from like 1 to like 6, I have time to do online. And then from 7 to 9, I have one more client. So I've gotten more into not just personal training for like the hour. I do more like whole life training. So I go to these people's homes. I sometimes cook, sometimes uh, you know, do whatever it is that they need. Some more concierge. So if it's I'm really deep into like the stretch, hypno breath work, and so it's a program just for that. So I no longer have a ton of clients where I by masses. It's more like high level clients
Yeah.
that need more personalized assistance in every way. And so we take care of that. And I kind of like it like that a little bit more at the moment. But I do miss the classes that I used to teach at Suka. I used to teach a bunch of classes with a bunch of people. And so for that, I do like a free community stay run every Friday. So I just have
Oh,
all
I've been seeing that.
friends and clients. And yeah, we run the stairs for 30 minutes, watch the sunrise, and it's a beautiful way to start your Friday here in Tampa.
Yeah, man, that's freaking awesome. So then how you've been talking, walk me through what's hypno breath work. I'm interested in that too.
Yes, bro. Hypno breathwork changed my life in a lot of ways too, because it gave me a new perspective on my current life and my past life and my future life. So hypno breathwork is breathwork, hypnosis, and visualization. Breathwork allows you to get rid of that stagnant emotions and stagnant just vibrations in your mind and in your body. And then hypnosis allows you to open up a door into your subconscious and see and replace old limiting beliefs. So from ages 0 to 7, there are things that you had no control over, but they are within you because that's how your family raised you, your experiences, da da da. So for example, if your grandma said, you're not gonna, or let's say the money doesn't grow on trees, then you're gonna have some small limiting factor on like, oh, money is hard to get. And so if you're able to go deep into that through a guided breath work and you're able to go find that initial moment when your grandma said that or that experience and change that wording or change that experience to something new, then you're able to see money growing on trees, XYZ. Um, and then visualization is something that I love the most because it's truly when you're able to see your future life before you, and it allows you to find your next intuitive action step, and that's what allows you to win. I think that is my favorite part of it is the visualization. I'm able to see what I look like, what I smell like, what my family looks like, what my house looks like in the future, what true success and happiness is to me. And I don't think I'd be able to see that without really practicing. It's really hard to find 20 minutes of time in your day to focus on your own thoughts and feelings and expressions and what you really desire. So this small technique allows me to block out some time away from this world and more into my imaginary world, which your thoughts turn into reality as long as you put action to them. So, hypno breathwork has been amazing. I got certified a year ago. Francesca Sitna is the founder and she has like the whole copyright thing of hypno breathwork. She came up with it.
Yeah.
She was super successful in New York City, marketing, had everything in the world, left everything behind, went to Bali actually,
Oh wow.
uh, had her own spiritual awakening, and then figured out how to create this thing. And I remember the first time I did it, it was for HPLT, which is high level performance training. They go around the country and they do these very in-depth performance training. They go Navy SEAL workouts and at the beach. They do long runs. They do fireside chats with founders. And so they came to Suka. Actually, yeah, they did. Yeah, they came to Suka, and we did our first hypno breathwork with her. And I hadn't cried probably in like 3 years since that moment. And I was able to cry that day of gratitude of like, I was able to see so many things, bro, like
Wow.
unreal. And the release of like those stagnant beliefs and emotions allowed me to open up my mind to new things. And so that's why I'm so passionate about it. You know, it's very hard for people who may not do it to understand because for me, I was very skeptical of all this stuff. But once you dive in, you're able to really see a lot of new things, and I've started to do a little bit more deeper stuff with it too. So it's been fun to you know, experiment.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating. That's really cool. So I'm interested, like how long is that like a hour session or how long do you typically or 20 minutes or what was that you typically do?
Yeah, so let's say for example, if I'm doing a hypno breathwork session with you, I'd probably spend 15 minutes to curate the moment, the what the hell is going on. And
Yeah.
then the whole actual practice is about 23 minutes of deep breath work. It's called Huffman.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
So it's in, out. So you go to some music, my guidance. What honestly, when I talk, I never really script it, and I just let the intuitive words come out. And honestly, it is unreal. I actually did this in Bali. I met like 12 random people, all close friends. I still text them like every other week, and I was the most nervous in my life. But doing it was the most unreal experience. None of them spoke English like as a first language. So a lot of them were from Spain, Germany. And so I had like a bilingual one. And I remember I rented this beautiful yoga shala on the side of the ocean, like amazing. And we're doing a sunrise session and I'm setting up at 4:30 a.m., getting all the mats ready and it starts pouring. I'm like, yes, I don't have to do this because I was scared. But my gut was like, oh, we got to find another way. So I was like, okay, I'll just rent it for the next day. So I called everybody, hey, canceled. Let's do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I'm there again, checking out all the yoga mats, getting ready. Boom, starts pouring again. I'm like, yes, I don't have to do this thing. And then I had met a friend, and she was living in Bali for a long time now. She had a beautiful mansion on the top of the mountain, and she's like, hey, you can do it at my house. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. So I went to their house. I set up the mats outside next to her beautiful pool. And again, it starts raining. I said, all right, guys, just go in the kitchen, go in the living room, and we'll make it happen. And for like hour and a half, I had goosebumps the whole time. And I don't even know what the hell I'm saying, but it was all the right things. Hmm, Spanish. I'm like, whoa, where did Spanish come from? English, but everything just fell into place, and it was one of the most powerful things I've done in my life because bringing together people and like the hugs afterwards were like 3 minutes, people crying, and for me, it was like, well, I was able to touch somebody, and this is actually the scariest thing for me is like knowing that I do have something in that realm that I'm scared to move into because I'm so how vulnerable that place is. So definitely something I'm going to pursue more. Um, but again, I've been doing a lot of other experiments that are also really cool that have allowed me to open my mind through mushrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah. How's that? I was gonna ask actually, how has that been? I was gonna ask like into the psychedelic realm because that kind of goes hand in hand with like the hypnosis, or it's like they have like graduating steps almost, right? In my mind, at least, like it's like goes into that. Like, has that been like a transformative experience in itself? If that's something
So
you've
I
dealt
don't
with?
drink. I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah,
I I just do shrooms. I never did any drugs in my life. I just do shrooms. And actually, I lied. My first experience with breath work was with shrooms. My boss had invited me to this. It's called Journey. It's a journey. You go
yeah,
into this room. It's all like on the low. Nobody really knows about it too much.
sure.
You enter this room, and I remember walking into this room. It's like 25 people, and it's all like the movers and shakers of Tampa, and they're like, they've done this before. And so I'm the new guy, and I see the yoga mats on the ground. I see a blindfold. We see a little goodie bag, and you get into it, and we have this shaman from the Middle East come in. His name is Matan, and from there we start to, um, he starts teaching us about the drug, or sorry, the medicine, and he starts to let us know what's about to happen, and we all take it. We take 4 grams of shrooms, which is my first time ever taking anything in my life,
We're going
and
to
I'm like,
Heroes though, so okay.
I'm trusting these people that I'll be okay. So I take it in the beginning, I don't remember at working. Like I'm like, bro, this is not doing anything for me. I look up, I stand up, and I see people just with the sound, just moving, and just I'm like, where the hell am I? I was like, let me just try this one more time. And just kept following the breath work, deep breath work, deep breath work. My hands, my legs, everything became like super like jittery. I'm like, whoa. And then he starts talking with this, like his voice is so like deep and in depth, and you follow his voice, you follow the music, and there's like different instruments playing, and there's like different pieces of water here and there, but every touch becomes a memory, every memory becomes a movie, and it's your own movie, and it's a movie you've either already lived in or a movie that you're going to live. And I was able to see a lot of I have goosebumps right now talking about it because I remember seeing that, bro. I went all the way back to when I was like 7 years old, and this is a quick example.
Yeah, I love
I've
it.
always had trouble with like emotions and like let's say for example, my girlfriend's like crying in front of me, I probably wouldn't know like, okay, I would just be like kind of like, oh, trying to find the solution and not really like
I'm the
just
same way.
sit, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And so I went back to when I was 7 years old. I grew up in Puerto Rico, where we rode horses to the store, we killed what we ate, and this is the first time where I'm seeing my my grandpa like kill a goat right in front of me. And so I'm looking at the goat as my grandpa's just slicing his fucking neck, and I start to look at the goat's eyes, and I feel like he was trying to talk to me, and he was just crying, and I start crying, and my grandpa's yelling at me, the more you cry, the more it suffers. The more you cry, the more it suffers, and over and over and over.
wow.
And so now, when I see someone in front of me suffering, I try not to give into that. I try and either stay calm or find the next solution to move forward. But basically, I felt like the goat was staying alive the more I cried.
Yeah,
Again, to some people, it might mean nothing, but to me, that was the next moment that allowed me to like, whoa, let me just, that's where I got that characteristic from. Let me move forward, and then it jumps forward to like a another segment of the movie where now I am a dad and I have my children, and I'm able to understand them a little bit more and figure out a better way to cope with them. But it was just it's crazy, and it sounds crazy to people who don't do it. Again, I don't care. I love it. I do it every 6 months, and again, it's something that everybody should do. Some people who are able to let go of things or should be open to it,
yeah,
but let go of control, their body and stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, life changing for me and for anybody who's actually done it that I know of. So
yeah.
there's
I
that.
think, yeah,
Other stuff that I want to get into too, but right now I'm cool with that.
yeah. No, that makes sense. That's awesome, man. I think that's it. I don't know. That's a cool thing to because a lot of substances, right? Like alcohol, you go out and not that I don't have alcohol once in a while, but it's like a lot of people try to escape almost, and I feel like with mushrooms, it's not an escape at all. It's a, like, confrontation, I would say, and you get to like really experience it rather than numb it, which is just the complete opposite of a lot of the things that are used in our culture, I guess. So yeah, um, I've had experiences with it as well, and find it
Yeah.
really cool, especially in nature and things like that.
Over in Oregon, the fires.
Yeah, we could find mushrooms out there. Um, do you have you microed as well, or is it just at the breath work or
Yeah.
yeah?
No, I've micro. Actually, my hypno work has absolutely no mushrooms in it. It is straight just
Oh, really?
work. It's not um calming breath work of, oh, let me just chill and relax. It's work for 23 minutes and 10 minutes
Yeah,
of meditation. Um, in terms of mushrooms, like let's say there's like a wedding and everybody's gonna be drinking, then I might,
I'm the
yeah,
same
I'll
way.
take a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah, yeah. I just found that if I want to stay healthy and stay as like optimal as possible, and I mean, it's just for me, right? Alcohol could be fine for you, whoever takes it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like I said, it doesn't, I don't do well with it. So
yeah. That
yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, it's I don't know. Like yeah, I did a micro before this, so it's like um, like I'm not, I'm not opposed to it by any means. Um, I don't, I was gonna say something, but yeah, it's I feel like that's gonna be. Have you listened to Paul Stamets at all? Um,
I need other,
no,
I need
he's a
other,
sharp guy. He's from Washington. I read a book by Michael Pollan called How to Change Your Mind, and but I got into different my entry point into like psychedelics and all that was different. It was more from the football aspect of brain injuries, and I was
oh, wow.
probably like third or fourth year. I'm like I'm getting a lot of head impacts, and I don't really think this is good. And I was just I don't know, especially as a lineman, right? You're every single play you're getting your head hit, and it's like the cool things to have all the marks on your helmet where it's you're getting literally
Yeah.
hit in the head. So I was I was undergrad. I was doing a lot of research in how to create neurogenesis and things of that sort, and started studying the that kind of aspect of mushrooms with other psychedelics, with creating new neurons, with preventing brain injury, Alzheimer's, all that. And it's just fascinating behind kind of the different utilities of it.
But
Go ahead.
when did you take your first one?
Take it.
Sorry, did I cut off?
Yeah, for a second, sorry. Um, I don't even remember, man. It was probably trying to think back because I had a few. There was a there was a there was a good bit where I was doing that or cannabis, and if you heavy dose the cannabis, it's quite very similar to that when I
Oh, really?
make yeah make an edible of like I accidentally would make them. I don't. That's not really something I don't know. I fell out of love with cannabis. Not that I don't know. I just don't consume it anymore, really. But I made like edibles for like 200 milligrams. But I would say probably um, mushrooms, probably 2020, maybe around COVID. I think that's when it
Wow.
was really we had that time off, and it was just might have been before, but I think it was right around then, and it was a similar thing of the starting out strong kind of thing of whatever it was. Probably like 4 or 5 grams, and it was outside at like a park, and I didn't. There was no breathwork ceremony or anything. It was just sending it,
Yeah.
and I wasn't somebody who drank in college either. So I didn't. When I got to UB, that was like 2016. Everyone's drinking and stuff, and I drank a little bit early in high school. But I just didn't like it, and had a family history of not in my direct family, but a lot of people in the past alcoholism, and that's not something I wanted to fall into. So I was just a conscious awareness of my guys biology with what's in my culture. I was like, I don't want to have that happen to me. So that was something I always, you know, steered clear of, and that the cannabis and mushrooms were experiences for me that it was similar, just to like let go in a sense of I was always coming up as a walk-on as and as a player, my identity was always just like work harder and just push myself to the max in that case, where it led to definitely some injuries and then some possible burnout, impacts relationships, and that was a really helpful point to kind of reset. And then that's where I really, and especially in Oregon, when I realized like how important it is to be in nature for me. Like that's how I really reset and become a better person and form mantras like that. So
Yeah. Bro, I've been I'm sorry, kind of change the topic a little bit, but
yeah,
I
you're
was
good.
like your post the other day, and I wanted to know how long did it take for you to go from being 300 some pounds to where you are now? Because your transformation is unreal.
Oh, thanks, man. It was pretty. So like the post, I have like a pin post, and it was by the time I graduated, I uh I got down pretty lean. I finished up in December. We finished up the season and of 2021. In 2022, I was about 305, and that was a tough year. I was just man, it started out with mono, going in,
Mm.
herniated my few discs in my back that summer, and then had mono, so lost a bunch of weight, gained it back, but I lost like 30 pounds from mono, gained it back definitely not a good way. So I put on a lot of fat real quick to be able to play because I missed all camp and then didn't really practice the whole season. So I wasn't in the best. The year before I was in better shape. So I was just bad shape. And December, probably like 305. And that was just, every night would be, or close to every night, just get as high as possible and eat as much as I could to keep on weight kind of thing throughout the season. And it was, it just wasn't a healthy way. And most of my career did it track the food, healthy way. And I had like a lot of liver issues and other things from taking Toradol, other painkillers, muscle relaxers for my back. So a lot of just internal health issues, not to mention we were forced to get the vaccine. So it was just a lot of stuff. And so then by the end of the season, my body was in shambles to put it in short. I got all Mac and I was just like, but there was unlike yourself, my goal was never really to be in the NFL. It was to always get a scholarship, be a captain, be a starter,
Yeah.
and hit those. And I was like, well, I could do pro day, but I don't. I know the guys who play in the NFL, and I guess that was a self-limiting belief looking back, right? That was a self-limiting belief. I didn't think I was good enough to play in the NFL, so I just didn't do the pro day and start losing the weight. And my goal was to be 225 by graduation, and I was 225 by graduation. Now muscle mass I had less. I definitely crashed my thyroid hormones in the process of losing the weight because I tried so many different diets, did carnivore, keto, intermittent fasting. So I tried all of these where it spikes cortisol and destroys your thyroid. And by the time I was like 240, I'm wearing a winter hat and it's not even cold outside, but my thyroid's so low and the metabolism's so shot that it was just I didn't do it. I didn't necessarily do it the right way, and that's why what I help people now. I learned from that in the past 3 years. Started to put muscle back on. So now I would say I'm a better body comp than
That's
that. But
awesome. What would you say? Oh, sorry. Um, Out of all those modalities, what is the best way to lose weight? And then if you could do it back over again to not mess up your thyroid.
that's, I would say taking it in a moderate approach, but utilizing carbohydrates. That's something I use with all my guys. It's never and have food throughout the day and do it in a balanced approach that you can fit with life. Because what I learned throughout the shoot past few years, especially the past year, working with multiple different high level nutrition coaches and best-selling authors, and really just investing. A lot of what I invested in this business is learning. So that's what I work with, try to work with the smartest people I can, really in nutrition and metabolism. But from learning from people like Dr. Ray Pete, who's really smart, and some other really good people about metabolism, and what I employ with all the guys I work with, right? We want to utilize easy to digest carbohydrates. We want to detoxify the liver, so things like carrots, raw carrot salads, bone broths, different types of protein sources. So when you have just only muscle meat, there's certain amino acids like tryptophan and other really like three or four main amino acids that are kind of inflammatory when we have them in excess, and that's something doing keto and carnivore and just I'm going to eat. I test the extremes. I'm a self trial guy, so I'm like I'm going to have 300 grams of protein. I'm going to have 400 grams of protein for a month and see what happens.
Mm.
And I like to try it out. And uh, after trying all that out, reducing that stuff down using collagen, bone broth, different types of protein, definitely utilizing carbohydrates throughout the day. And then I'll do, I'd like to utilize what I utilize with people now, like Don Polizzi or other guys who have got a good amount of people coming down the pipeline who are going to be 50, 60, 70 plus pounds down and start out with a base, creating a foundation. I had that. So training and non-training day approach would be helpful. I did a ton of exercise, a ton of running. Probably overdid the running initially because I was didn't ramp up to it, right? Like I just instead of going up
Yeah.
10% a week, I just went no running to I'm gonna run 40 miles every week, 50 miles. Before you know it, you got foot, knee issues. So training and on train day, and eventually I like carb cycling as well. So we'll push carbs up, 6, 7, 800 grams of carbs in a day, spike the metabolism up. I test the body temperature, so I have a thermometer I use most of my clients with, testing other kind of body metrics and get to see how your body's responding. And if your body temperature is going down, that means your thyroid is going down and your those hormones are going down. And then doing blood work throughout the process. Luckily, I've got blood work from then. So I've got blood work saved from 2018, 19 till now. So it's cool to be able to look back at that. I look at the TSH, the T3, the T4, the reverse T3, get blood work throughout the process, which I have guys do now. So I'll read their blood work and figure out, and then morning temperature. And that's kind of how I'll put or do it with people. But I've had that happen. I've had a lineman come to me and we took the temperature. And it's 92 degrees. It's supposed to be 97.8 to 98.2 in the morning. And
Mhm.
92 degrees can't get down under 360, but you barely eat any food. And we start to improve the body temperature. They get the blood work done because I'm like, hey, you got to get blood work, try to tell their team and stuff. And then eventually they listen to me. And yeah, they're hypothyroid. They got low
Yeah.
thyroid. But they can't really, with our current medicine system, as you know, it's, frankly, BS. And you can't really do much preventative work or things to really address besides pharmaceuticals. So we didn't you go to pharmaceutical route, went to through food and exercise and sleep and light diet, blue light, red light, using different modalities of that mindset, like yourself, all of that, be able to get the body temperature up. And we've been able to go from about eating 1,500 calories where the guy was eating to now eating over 4,000 and went from 360 to 322 in about 2.5 months. So it's
Wow.
just like that would be the main thing. And thyroid and testosterone work hand in hand. So inherently that should come up and want libido to come up and make sure you're not, like always ask like, all right, morning wood, are we getting that? Like simple things like that, but we want, quality hormone function throughout the time. So if those start to slow, then it's like, hey, do you want to lose weight or do you want to just get there and have shot hormones? Because that's not worth it. So I don't let anybody I work with do that. Like I'm sometimes it's like, hey, we need to pull back a little bit, get the body right, and then continue to push.
Wow, I love that. I feel like I just learned a lot. Yeah, it's funny because you said something about the running piece. I feel like everybody
Yeah.
after college, they're just going to this like, oh, let me just run until I figure
You're
something
looking for the
out.
next thing. Yeah.
Dude, just like you said, no training, bro. I wanted to see because everybody when I worked at Suka, there's a bunch of runners, and so they would go and run marathons. And I just want to try it out.
Yeah.
So I know I'm like running like long distance. I run a little bit here and there. Before this, I think I started running more. I ran over 1 mile for the first time like a year and a half ago, and like a year, no, 2 years now. 2 years now was the first time I ran over 1 mile. Like I've
What?
always ran 1 mile, and the rest was just sprints.
Yeah, you're a sprinter. Yeah.
And so I wanted to test out if I could run a marathon. Um, after I did no zero training. I did just went out for a 7 mile run. Then I met this guy on this run. He goes, "Oh, how long are you going for?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, like until I feel like it." And so we just kept talking. This guy had an amazing story. He like died twice and came back to life. It was unreal. And we just started running fast. Like we started going, going, going. And so I ended up running a backyard marathon here that first week. And I think I posted on my story. I was like, yeah, I felt nothing because there's nothing to truly feel when you didn't work for it in a way. When you go to these races and you see these people so happy because they have put so much work into it and there's something attached to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I did it wrong. Maybe I need to run it a little bit faster. So like the week after, I ran a little bit faster and I ran another marathon. And again, I felt nothing. And I was like, golly, what the hell are people just doing this for?
What do you mean you
But
felt nothing?
you feel like, I was expecting to feel, oh my God, I just ran a marathon. Like, da da da. But in reality, I just felt like, oh, that was just a run. You know what I mean? And so that's how I knew running wasn't for me. But then I ended up running a 60K like a couple months later. Um, and I didn't train for that one either. But that one had a bigger meaning because I did it for the St. Joseph's Children's
Yeah.
fund. And it just had a bigger meaning because when I got home, like I got all these messages from these kids from the hospital, like saying thank you. And I was like, whoa, that was life changing. But running just to run is not for me. If there's a bigger purpose, for sure, go ahead. But yeah, at the moment, I try to run maybe 6 miles a week, 6 to 10 miles a week, and
Yeah,
then
that's
do a
cool.
couple sprints. But if you had to tell like the lay person the simple way to stay the simplest way, telling the lay person how to stay as healthy as possible when it comes to nutrition, what are the basics to optimizing your health?
Mm, that's a good question. So quality food is the biggest thing, and I'll talk a lot about what I post a lot about is whole food, but it's more than just that because we want first and foremost there's a lot of aspects here, but the first few things we want to think about whole food foundation. So we don't necessarily want to be going out and getting things that are made in a lab that have a bunch of processed items in there that might be sold as healthy, but typically aren't healthy. They are these companies are bought out or they are owned by entities which are going to prove on the back end that they're healthy when they're not. So whole food, cook your own food, I would say is another big thing too. Cooking your own food. See what gets in there. See what see the food you're eating, see if it's quality. You can tell if it's quality meat or not. You can tell if it's, actually make your rice, actually make your potatoes. Go, I would say buy local food too. I think that's massive. I go to a farm nearby, I get eggs, I get duck eggs, I get my watermelon, cantaloupe, zucchini. I would say get local food, organic food, pasture raised eggs. I would say grass fed meat. I would say those things and start cooking it yourself and find ways that you enjoy eating it. Those would be some real basics. I'd say water filtration would be another important thing too, for health. There's going to be other aspects. that you can build off of, but the foundation is eating whole nutrient dense food, which is a lot of fruits that digest well, a lot of just overall quality carbohydrates, quality meats that hopefully are local, and then, hydrate through juices and coconut waters and water. Those would be the big kind of rocks. Avoiding polyunsaturated fats would be another one that slows down metabolism. I feel like that's all I talk about with my clients is metabolism. And it's a massive thing because we guys, we have so many people who come to me with just crash metabolisms and are just trying to max out their protein intake. And then we, I've had another guy came to me at 230 and was eating 1900 calories. I'm just like, we can't be, you can't cut from that. There's nothing you can pull back from. You can't work out 6 days a week and eat 1900 calories weighing 230. It doesn't add up. So we eventually worked that back up, but it's through just whole food. And instead of having protein bars all day and different protein shakes, we're gonna have, a lot of micronutrient dense food. So the whole food, man. Yeah. What about you? What would be the main things you tell your clients or somebody who's asking you that just walking around? Because it's a loaded question.
It is a question. You answered it perfectly. I think to keep it as basic as possible, it would be very similar to your answer. Like Whole Foods, try and find the best ingredients, shop around the outsides of the
Yeah.
grocery store if you don't have any farmers markets around you, and just keep the boring meals. I know boring meals are sometimes like, oh, I want to taste this, I want to taste that. But honestly, the boring meals, which is just like 1 to 3 ingredients, are going to keep you more aligned and allow this to be sustainable. Because once you start going into a crazy diet, oh, I'm a chef and do this and that, time is going to kill you. And so for me, I found that, okay, if I like these 3 meals. I'm only gonna eat these 3 meals, and then if I have a cheat day, then I'll eat whatever it is. Somebody else can make it, but I'm not trying to play chef for the moment and try and make it sustainable because it's gonna be hard depending on your timing. So I think time is the hardest thing for me, and
Yeah.
so whatever's easiest for me to, I can cook up a whole bunch of either potatoes or rice at bulk,
Hmm.
and all the good meats, like you said, all the whole foods and fruits gaining those, but also finding the most efficient way for you to have them ready is the most important thing because people would love to eat good food. It's just the availability of having it at the certain times. Because if you're rushing, you're probably not going to end up eating that. You're going to end up eating a protein bar, which is probably not great for you compared to the chicken breast or steak or whatever. So it's more about scheduling than it is just really figuring out what to eat. So um, I would say that figure out your schedule. When are you going to eat first? And then obviously you already know what you're going to implement your diet. You know what foods are good or bad. So a lot of people know what foods to eat. It's
They
just
do.
for them to implement it because they don't know the timing. They don't know how to cook in a way that makes it efficient.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you're like, oh, I'm gonna make this epic dinner, and then something with work comes up, or something with family comes up, or then you don't
Go
have it, and then you go get some fast food, and you're
Go
cooked.
McDonald's. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I would love to go get some McDonald's, but then I'd feel like shit tomorrow. Um, but yeah, how about training though? What are you in? What phase are you in when it comes to training at the moment? What are you working towards? And what does your current split look like?
Oh, that's a good question as well. I love it. So training, I love trying different training. So whether that like last year was doing similar to you running half marathon, I ran a couple half marathons, things of those sorts, which was cool. Then for firefighting, I was in a completely different phase. I didn't weight lift for 6 months, maybe once every two. I probably lifted twice a month, twice a month.
That's what
So
we did. Collagen or something.
yeah, luckily kept on muscle. Uh, for the most part, that wasn't really an issue. Then for me, so recently, this whole year, really, I've been doing a push-pull leg 3 day a week because I had the autoimmune issues. So I was doing RPE 6, a kind of very just
Yeah,
plain
like
boring, which I really didn't like at all. But that was just basically from the medical people I was working with was like, hey, you need to just dial it back. I had a lot of heart issues too, so I was getting scans all the time and just getting a ton of chest pain. So I couldn't really do a lot of intense cardio either. So it was RPE 6, push pull leg, and then about 2 months ago started to switch it up. Did a high intensity Mike Mentzer style training where it's one absolute max out set and look to beat that. So true, just weight driven progressive overload. So I was doing that, and now I'm doing hypertrophy cluster style training, which I've done before. This guy, he's got his Instagram hypertrophy clusters. Jake, he runs that. So he was a former strength coach for different colleges. Now is his own business, but that's an 8x5 split. So or today, so I do a upper lower on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday's a rest day. Thursday's upper, Friday's full. So today did dumbbell push press 8x5 with pull-ups 8x10, and then hit some arms, some shoulders, things like that. Do warm up, which is typically fun, or some resisted sprints or frisbee or things of that sort, and then a lot of core work. But that's basically, yeah. And tomorrow's gonna be 8x5 deadlift. So that's the new split, which I love doing. I really like it's like pushing yourself 60 seconds in between reps, and then I'm working into doing more running again. I had some like foot injuries from firefighting as well. So I was rehabbing those and got a bunch of cortisone shots and tried to avoid surgery on them. And now I'm biking for my cardio. So I like doing more distance biking, whatever, like 15, 20 plus miles on those. And then do some field sprints as well. So I like doing those midday. I'll lift in the morning and then I'll go bike over to the field and do some barefoot sprints, do a little grounding, sun work action combo, which is really fun too. So I've been getting stung by a lot of bees going to some of these fields. But that's been kind of the split. So yeah. How about you? I heard you got Max and Rich on a 6 day. What's your split?
Yeah, bro. Dude, I feel like I was traveling so much and I was doing this dojo thing, the business with the gym,
Yep.
that I just fell off track and I created like a kind of like a 6 week boot camp where a 6 day training, obviously one off day, but it's a kind of a mixture of a bunch of different modalities. But we start off with heavy legs. Um, we use a lot of tempo for the first 3 weeks, and the
Yes,
last three
sir.
weeks we take tempo out. It's truly a strength program. And I love it. I mean, first 3 weeks suck, but then it starts to get fun once you get no tempo and you can just go at your own pace.
Yeah, tempo's good.
Um, so I say, yeah, tempo is if you're trying to literally get the 40 pounds stronger on every lift, it's literally just do tempos for 2 to 3 weeks
Yeah, I have a lot of
and
guys
then
do
let
that.
go of it. It's just like a
Yeah.
unreal. And I learned that obviously from all our coaches that we had at University of Buffalo, and that was great. But yeah, so Monday we do heavy legs, Tuesday we do chest and back. Again, it's more of like a heavier start of the week with tempos. And then Wednesday we do shoulders and arms. And then on Thursday we do like a dynamic lower body day, a couple contrast training, heavy deadlift with body weight, max jumps, single leg stuff, sprints where you start with sprints, do a couple of cleans, and then we get into the lift. But super simple on Thursday. It's just kind of get the body moving a little bit. And then we finish with push pull.
Cool.
And
Heck
that's
yeah, dude.
kind of like a pump for the week. Um, yeah, right now, honestly, I did it just to get back into shape this past 6 weeks after not really being locked in for a while. And I did it with one of my clients who was just got into college, and he basically is my client for 6 weeks throughout the summer before he went to college, and his numbers like jumped through the roof. Like he was barely doing 135 for five. At the end of it, he finally benched 225, and you know that feeling when you bench 225 for the first
Hell
time.
yeah.
Everybody, this is a big gym. They were like, "Oh, let's go!" It was sick. That was good for him. We gained about 12 pounds throughout the 6 weeks. Um, and his dad's like, bro, he needs to gain weight. I'm like, yeah, we'll get him there. And not just him, but also me. I hit all my top numbers, which for me was not the intention. It was just let me just get back into it. And, I benched 340, which is my best so
Yeah,
far.
that's
I'm
awesome.
about to kill it here in about 4 weeks. And honestly, this probably be my last like strength building for now. And then after that, I'm gonna go into more like high rocks
Okay.
type of training, a little bit more aerobic. I'm going to continue to sprint. I think sprinting is one of the the best, if I could pick like three exercises to do for the rest of my life, it would be sprinting at the top, number one. I think all out sprints, it's max effort. Every piece of your body is being used, and your everything is literally like on fire and ready to go. So sprinting will always be a part of my programming. Either if you're 60 years old or if you're 20 years old, there's a way to find some sort of movement. It doesn't have to be 100%, but finding whatever your 80% is good because if you haven't sprinted in 4 to 5 years, if you sprint right now, you'll probably lock up at the hamstring or tear something. And I think it's really important to have those basic movements like
Yeah.
pull up, dips, push ups, and sprinting, maybe even a box jump if you can,
Hmm.
ready to go because that's when people get injured. They start to doing like let's say for example body building type of lifting, which I love. But if you only were to do bodybuilding for a long time, I feel like that's when people start to get stiff. That's when people start to get weird injuries in different places because you're not training the full function of the muscle. You're not training at, or you can't even lift your own weight. You're just lifting a piece of
Machine or
equipment up and
something.
down, which is,
Yeah.
yeah. And again, it's great if your goal is to be the most amazing bodybuilder in the world and get the hypertrophy stuff. But if you're trying to build longevity, the basics will always win. And yeah, so I think my top three movements for life would be sprinting, some sort of push up, and some sort of pull up,
I like it.
and maybe a box jump. I think yeah, top four.
Those are sick. So you work out at Gold's Gym too, isn't that's gotta be awesome.
Yeah, bro, it's sick. Obviously, I worked out in a bunch of little boutique gyms when I moved out
Yeah.
here. I'm not gonna lie, these gyms are great, but I feel like my testosterone dropped by about 200. All these things are freaking so nice. The equipment's
Yeah.
beautiful. Everyone's amazing too, but they're kind of like, they're bougie a little bit. They like
Yeah.
their things to be nice. And I'm used to like
Some
having
chalk, some iron, bro.
yeah, a
Yeah.
grindy gym somewhere like I can yell and drop some weight and be like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so finding a gym finally after working with so many boutique, um, not so many, I only worked at Suka, but working in the boutique industry, I'm so happy that I'm back into a gym where I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. And the one here in Tampa is awesome. They have a bunch of different rooms. They have an outdoor, they have an indoor, and everybody in there is honestly, I'm probably like the smallest guy in there. Everybody is huge. Like, yeah, everybody walking around, they're aesthetically freaking unreal. The females, the males, everyone is awesome. So it's a great competitive place to go in there and be like, okay, this guy's getting up early, he's getting after it. Now I gotta do the same or better.
Yeah, that's badass, dude. That's gotta be, yeah. Gold's is there so and for training wise, speaking of that, which I wanted to ask about, like you did a bodybuilding show out of nowhere, right? You did so it was a physique competition. So it was with the board shorts and everything, or is it classic?
I did physique with the board
Okay,
shorts.
physique.
But again, this is stupid. I do a bunch of random stuff at random times. And so last year I decided to do something hard every month.
Yeah.
And that month prior to that, I did a 7-day fast where I only drank water for 7 days. And I took like a spoonful of pink Himalayan sea salt under the tongue
Mhm.
every morning with water for 7 days. And in that process, I lost 24 pounds. And I was very lean. I was, as you'd expect, right? My goal is like, oh shoot, I didn't plan anything for the next month, so I'm like kind of scrambling. It started like the first or something like that of the next month, and I'm like, golly, what am I gonna do this month? And I see Connor Classics. He's one of the pro guys here in Tampa. He's walks by me at Souk, and I'm like, yo, when is the next show? He's like, next week, and I'm like, sign me up. So we really signed up, and actually ended up being like 10 to 12 days. I signed up. He coached me for like a session or two. He tried to refeed me, put more nutrients in my body, and still follow a meal plan. But I had a 7 to 12 day prep. All I was scared of was like the the posing because I had never done posing, and that's where for me it was going to be a little uncomfortable. But I got out there and I did it, and that was the hard thing I did for that month, and it was cool. There was 14 people in my class. I took second overall and in the novice too. So it was cool. Something I probably won't do again, but I gained a lot of respect for those guys because they follow 24-week prep of dieting and being so disciplined and consistent, and they're probably running a couple cycles, which to some people like, oh, what a blessing to run a cycle, but at the same time, it's another commitment to yourself to like be disciplined because I'm putting my body through risk, and I'm also committing to this thing that if I don't do it right, I could fuck up my whole situation, right? So I learned a lot, and I would have actually felt a little bad if I won because those guys all got after it, like especially the guy who won. It was like pretty close,
Yeah,
and
you should have won.
I was happy. Obviously, I would have loved to fucking won, but at the same time, I was happy. I did the. It was a mission, a side quest that I
Yeah,
had, and not the goal. The goal was not to win. It was just to do something different.
to grow.
And it was cool. Are you doing a show soon or what? What's going
No,
on, man?
I don't think so, man. I'm not nearly lean enough for that. It's a whole different category. I'm still just trying to freaking figure this autoimmune stuff out. Gonna start doing. I used to do jujitsu, and that was really fun. So I'm gonna get back into that down in Florida, talking to a few gyms, figure out which one to go to. I got my gi. I like no gi, but and then I got my shin pads and gloves and everything for kickboxing or Muay Thai. So uh, martial arts is fun to me. That's really cool. That's something I've been trying to get back into. The bodybuilding aspect, no, it's just I like it. I'm actually somebody who kind of follows a lot of the bodybuilders. I think it's something that helpful to learn from. They're a lot of times, whether it's on, honestly, for longevity, a decent amount of times they're on the kind of the cutting edge of the peptides or different things going on, uh, of kind of outside the medical system, obviously. So it's interesting to learn from some of them. And when I used to work at a gym, I was before I was a trainer and strength coach for high schools and athletes and Gen Pop, I was selling personal training. So my guy who I worked with was a bodybuilder. He was pretty good, and and then his bodybuilding coach would always be in. They'd be talking, whether it's about training or cycles or whatever. So it was interesting to learn about kind of that aspect too, and then the recovery modalities of peptides and glutathione and BPC 157 or all these different things, which is I think pretty interesting too. I know down there, like, have you done like IVs or any of the kind of recovery modalities that you guys have? Because I've found that I've done the BPC and the glutathione and things like that, and I thought it was cool.
No, I haven't done any peptides or anything like that. And I went to go get my blood work done the other day. I got my results back, and everything seems pretty like standard. Everything's
Yeah, that's
decent.
good.
Um, I've I was like asking the doctor a bunch of different, oh, should I do this? My doctor's awesome. He just knows a lot about everything, and he works with a lot of like high performers.
Yeah,
So I was like, am I missing out by not taking this while I'm 27 years old? Should I take it now or do I wait? And like I don't know. I think right now my biggest problem with me is sleep. So if I
me
fe-
too.
if I can fix the things that are under my control first, I want to do that. See how I do with my own personal. Obviously, that's just a problem that I have in terms of just got to time out, but things better. It's been a problem for 10 years. And if I'm able to fix that, and then I don't see any like results in terms of like improving, then maybe I might look into it. But truly, that's the only thing um that I feel could help me at the moment. Um, again, I'm not looking to compete anywhere. I'm not looking to be the best at freaking bodybuilding, the best runner. I'm not looking to do any of that. I'm looking to be the best, to live the best life and go on and I don't know, be able to do a lot of things that most people can't. And I think I'm at the rate naturally that I can just do whatever I want right now. Now, I don't know what will give me the takeover to go and to try some couple things, but for now, I'm good. I love learning about it though, so I don't know too much about them. I know a little bit
Yeah,
because I want to take it, but
yeah. I've never used
yeah.
anabolics, but like the BPC for like because I had like IBS, Crohn's, all that. So it's like the oral, which is it's like a healing peptide for a lot of people who have like post injury, and that was one I used, and then glutathione, which is just the antioxidant. That's another one that I thought was. I'm trying to think. and then NID, which is another one. Those are all, yeah. I worked
Yes.
with that's another one where you can do like IV. Um, I forget. I haven't even looked into NID enough, but used it. It was cool. Um, what was I gonna say too? But like the
NAD is
side
huge.
quests. Oh, go ahead.
You know, NAD is huge down here. It's
Yeah,
like everybody uses it.
yeah. It's just I don't know what it is.
Longevity,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Those NAD and glutathione and all those NAC and all those cocktails are huge for longevity. I feel like, and but I was gonna say the side quest, man. That's like so in. I think that's so important that, and I think I'm similar to you. That's why I did firefighting or different coaching or whatever. But same with you with Bali and 7 Day Fast, marathon, bodybuilding show. I think that's what's important though, is like consistently, challenging yourself. And I think people can get stuck in that rut of just doing the same thing over and over again for years, where that discipline and consistency is great, but it's also really important to, go try new things. And that's got to be something that's helped you grow a lot personally and then career wise too, right?
100%. I think for me, not having like football as my main thing allowed me to open up new things and try them out, see if I love them. And so it all started off as like, oh, let me just give this a try, see if I get the same itch as like scoring a touchdown or da da da. Nothing has been come close to that, but there has been, I mean, traveling for sure has been cool. Um, but doing something exciting and something you're nervous about once a month is truly like life changing again because it opens up your mind and say, okay, like what did I learn from this? What can I do moving forward? What did I like about it? What did I hate about it? And now do I gravitate towards something like this or do I not? And every time I do something new like this, something hard, I'm able to create new connections. And if you're a coach or if you're somebody who deals with people head on, I think the easiest way to connect with people is by having stories and learning how to story tell, which is something I'm still learning how to do. But if you have a bunch of random shit you do, that is the easiest way to ask questions first and then explain what you did in a way. And people will be like, oh, wow, yeah, that's awesome. What, you did this? No way. And so it's easy, bro. It's easy once you've done something that not a lot of people do. And literally nobody goes out of their house and does random shit like that. So if you are doing something or if you're at home and you feel like, oh, I have no friends or oh, I there's nothing to do, there's always something to do. You just got to go find it or create it. And once you do it, I promise you there'll be so many more people to talk about it with, and then so many new opportunities, so many new side quests that you never thought were possible. And that's where I've been now. Like now I get calls from random people, hey, let's go to China tomorrow. Let's go to China next month. Let's go to Japan. Let's go run this marathon. Let's go do random things. And I'm like, what I mean? I'm not supposed to be doing this. If I would listen to my old thoughts, like, oh, I gotta find a job and I gotta stick to this and I gotta build for whatever it is that you're, pre-aligned with your mindset. But it makes life exciting and enjoyable. And also, there's nothing better than a good story. So side quests are king.
Yeah, man. That's
Keeping the main thing going to, but throw a
I
little
think
bit
it
of
makes you
sauce on.
yeah, it allows you to enjoy the main thing. So, well, brother, it's been a little over 2 hours. I appreciate the time. That was great. That was
Yeah.
great. I appreciate you, man. Everyone can let me share let me share your Instagram before you go. Anything else? Any parting messages to the people out there trying to, whether it's change their mind or their body or whatever it may be?
First of all, thank you so much for getting me on the podcast. Um, let's see what we got. I think the most important thing is if you're trying to grow, whether it's your own business, your own platform, or just grow as an individual, you've got to be curious. And the number one step is to truly look outside of your hometown.
Yeah.
Even if you love your hometown, travel a little bit, gain perspective, and then if there's any interest, I promise you that leap is going to be life changing. And so, in order to be curious about things, you got to be able to be in new environments. And so, the number one thing I would say is whether you're working on the mind, the body, or the spirit, is study or see or experience new environments, and from there you'll have the blueprint to whatever the hell you want to build.
Yeah, man. Couldn't say it. Couldn't say it better myself. So, man, well, I appreciate you coming on, dude. It's been a blast. And I'm excited to see everything that gets launched in the future with what you guys got going on. I'm pumped. I'll be down there, so I'll definitely swing over to Tampa. We'll have to get a workout in. You guys will have to kick my ass down in Gold's
Come
gym.
on, baby.
And then if everyone out there, go give Giovanni a follow. I am right there up at the tag, Jovany Ruiz. So, man, I appreciate you coming on, dude. It's been a blast. Of
Dude, thank you so much, bro. You're a
course.
blessing. Again, what you're doing is inspiring me, inspiring so many people. So keep going. And again, pleasure to be spending time with you, dog.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.